my fellow citizens and residents of St. Christopher and Nevis. Today is the International Day for Persons with Disabilities. This means, on this day, we take a closer look at the issues that are affecting our disabled community and make an extra special effort to find ways of responding and resolving them. The theme for this year is Building Back Better toward a disability-inclusive, accessible, and sustainable post-COVID-19 world. According to the World Bank, there are approximately 1 billion persons in the world living with some form of disability, and unfortunately, they are among those who are the hardest hit with regards to COVID-related fatalities. The government of St. Kitts and Nevis, therefore, continues to ensure that the well-being of those individuals are met, and we are prepared to do even more. The United Nations defined a disabled person as one who has a long-term physical, mental, intellectual, or sensory impairment that prevents them from fully participating in the society in which they live. In an effort to bring focus to the challenges of disabled persons, the date of December 3rd was first observed in 1992 by the United Nations General Assembly, and later in 2006, the United Nations adopted the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. I am pleased to say that in 2019, St. Kitts and Nevis signed the said convention, confirming our commitment to better help our differently abled persons. This day was established to promote the rights and well-being of persons with disabilities and to increase the awareness of the situations that they face on a cultural, political, social, and economic level. These rights are also outlined in the Sustainable Development Goal 10, which focuses on the reduction of inequalities in and among countries. Prior to COVID-19, persons with disabilities experienced difficulty in accessing opportunities that are often readily accessible to able-bodied persons. Since the onslaught of the pandemic, those opportunities are even more difficult to access. This means, in order for us to build back better, we must do so carefully, ensuring that those who are most vulnerable are among the first to receive help. The St. Kitts Nevis Association of Persons with Disabilities, or the SKNAPD, continues to fight for the rights of the disabled community through their outreach and awareness programs. The organization has outlined for my ministry the issues that need to be addressed, and I would like for members of the organization to know that we have heard your voices, and the ministry and the government of St. Kitts and Nevis is working to resolve these issues. The need for programs that target persons with disabilities, the need for national health insurance that would help to offset medical bills, and among other things, the need for better physical accessibility to buildings and public spaces are highest on the list of priorities. The latter is particularly important because, while many of us can easily traverse the steps of buildings and walk along the busy sidewalks, a physically disabled person might have difficulty in doing so. Of course, there are a few institutions that have improved accessibility to their buildings by putting a ramp in place or installing an elevator, but there are many more miles to travel in response to those needs. I would therefore like to remind all public and private sector institutions that a differently abled person is a customer like anyone else. They too need to visit our offices, our banks, our supermarkets, stores, churches, restaurants, and our entertainment centers. The organization rightfully noted that the lack of accessibility not only affects our local disabled community, but our tourism industry as well. This is because without proper access to facilities, tourists who are themselves differently abled may have difficulty maneuvering around our beautiful Twin Island Federation. This could affect their choice of vacation destination, adversely affecting our tourism prospects. We are therefore called upon to build back better under the theme Building Back Better, thereby enhancing our economic prospects. Each year, the organization plans a week of activities, but due to the pandemic, these have been reduced to a church service that took place last Sunday, November 29th at the Antioch Baptist Church. And this week we are having a private games that will take place at the Irish Town Community Center. I am pleased that we as a nation have already made important steps responding to those often forgotten. However, we are cognizant that we still have a long way to go. Before I close, let me say a specific word to those who are differently abled or who consider themselves disabled. Psalms 139 verse 13 tells us that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You must therefore understand that no matter your disability, you are not here on earth for your own glorification, but for the glorification of God. You may not see it, and I also may not see it, but your story is an inspiration to someone somewhere, to the glory of God. Therefore, dwell not upon the status of your flesh, but upon the purity of your spirit, which will one day leave our deformed body to be with our Lord. We are grateful for all of the efforts from both private and public sector institutions and persons for their response to the needs of our differently abled community. Working together, we can build back better. Thank you.